Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you're tuning into this message. This is intended to be a timeless message, so whenever you're getting this message is the right time for you. Take what resonates, leave the rest. This is the Daily Dharma. My name is Dina. Thank you so much for joining me. Under the deck today, during the pre-shuffle, we did have empowerment. And empowerment came through with a few other code cards that showed me a power shift, a significant power dynamic shift that will make us very happy. It's coming with a heart activation, and it came with delight and prosperity. So this may offer a raise or have some money attached to it. Sorry for the moving table. And by the way, for those who did not see yesterday's message, as this is timeless and you can be tuning in at any time, I'm coming to you, 111 on the timer, from Maui. And this is the Lahaina region near Kaanapali Beach. And please do forgive the surrounding voices. I am on the 7th floor, but the voices and the ocean noises are all carrying, but it is just life. Life being life. Everyone's jogging, having a great time. So this power dynamic shift, what is going on for you? So this may be a shift in relationship. I was getting job primarily, but jobs, we have a lot of relationships with coworkers, bosses, and with our own reputation and status and our income and the stress levels from those jobs, as you well know. And jobs are also, we can talk about the roles that we play, the masks that we wear for other people, 211 on the timer there. And we did have solar plexus chakra popping out, that authority center. So the roles and personality aspects that we show with different people, maybe there's a power shift, a power dynamic shift happening deep within that's encouraging you to step into a new territory, or maybe this push from the universe pushing you into new territory is causing the empowerment, and it's something that's opening us up. Ooh, under the deck, look at that. So solar plexus was 3 and miracle is 33. So right now we have 333 on the deck, and I'll just go ahead and start taking from the bottom of the deck at this point, because 333 is about self-mastery and creativity and the Empress energy, being in-tuned, intuitive, and creative, and masterful in some way. So ascending into your mastery of some type of a hobby or some type of a topic of research or a job. Maybe you are getting some type of an elevated position or something that you've been working on for some time. You're taking a stand, 333 on the timer, and things are beginning to move, something that's been stalled. Consciousness, 17. So, consciousness. On this card, it talks about it helps our ability to focus our attention on all of the multidimensional aspects that show us, so that we can include them in our reality. Now, in this case, this can be like in the case of that forced change, being able to see that everything that seems to be monkey wrench in our plans is ultimately working out for our highest and best good, and that the more that we allow those things to show us different aspects, the more that we can flow and flex around what the universe is asking us to learn. So it's something about expansion here. So maybe you're taking on something new, something that you're good at. Maybe a sense of beginner's luck, or being good at something right off the bat, or something that you were really good at and you're returning to. It's something that's related to your path here, allowing your mental and emotional energies to rise to the occasion here. Compassion. So there's also some type of a situation here I'm feeling that you're using your consciousness and compassion not to be rising to the occasion of an antagonist. In a story, the the main person, the one that's going on the journey in the story, is the protagonist, the one who is affecting change and pushing the story through. And then the antagonist is the one who continues to aggravate the story. And both characters are so essential to the development of the plot and to the development of the hero's journey. And I'm saying that and feeling about the major arcana 0 through 20, when the major arcana are called the Fool's Journey. And I'm feeling that previously you may have retaliated or been drawn into these lower energies. It could even be negative thinking or self-sabotage or addiction. But with this shift and change, the consciousness is no longer drawn into those same black holes, and you're using your compassion and your willpower to lift yourself into a higher consciousness and just letting things go. Perception 35. So 17 and 35 are both 8s. 8 is the number of strength, and it's the infinity symbol that brings things around, so our actions coming back around for the highest good. And there's root chakra. So I'm feeling with root chakra and perception, we're understanding the role that the antagonists in our life have played out for us and how they're helping our journey to develop and helping us to become more than we would be by ourselves. Allowance, that came out yesterday as well. So perhaps there's been a retreat, like somebody coming aggressively and you just have it your way, you're the boss, you're the expert, and then letting somebody just either have the rope to I hate saying hang themselves. I have a little bit of a tough experience in the past where that exact thing was a reality. So I apologize if anybody's triggered by that comment, but it came up for a reason. There's been a retreat and an allowance. So yes, allowing whatever comes our way without judgment, opinion, or fear, or resistance. So allowing this person to just say whatever they need to say, because sometimes allowing somebody to just go around and gossip and attempt to destroy your reputation really just allows them to show themselves, because that's what will happen to those lower energies. You are protected. Sacral chakra number 2. That's the 3 lower chakras coming out, 1, 2, and 3. So the base chakra is about having that strong foundation, that firm sense of self and belonging. Sacral chakra is then coming off from that point, understanding that you have inherent value and worth, and that your desires and emotional fluctuations are very, they're meaningful, and they're your own emotional guidance system. It's between the 2nd and 3rd chakras here, that is your instinctual gut influence and instincts. It's related to your nervous system, and it's, okay, you have the central nervous system, which is the brain stem and the brain itself, and those higher functions, but the instinctual gut instincts, that nervous system is your fight, flight, freeze, or there's another one as well. It'll come out if it needs to. But between those two, it's trusting your inner guidance system to not jump at every opportunity to argue and choosing consciousness and compassion over the lower energies, allowing your higher self or the guidance systems that you have to not, as the empath will sponge in all of the emotions and expectations and projections of others. In this case, it's not allowing that sponge to collect and accumulate all of that negativity from the external world, but to sort and sift what has healthy meaning for our well-being. Passion. Now that's something to accommodate in a healthy way. Passion can, of course, come through as aggression. People that don't know how to harness and have self-control over their impulses and their emotional projections, 11:11 on the timer there, their passion is very truncated, and it comes out in unexpected and unhealthy ways, and comes through as anger and misery and blame and bitterness, where if you join them in that vibration, then you'll have a mixed bag of that as well. But the more that you can allow yourself that time and space to take that deep breath and to retreat from the invitation to argue or to enter into combat when it's not necessary, you can channel those passions into something that is a huge shift in your power base. And even if you do find it necessary or too compelling to stick up for yourself or necessary, because we're our own hero. We are the hero of our own story. And so don't feel bad if others aren't jumping up to defend you or any such thing, because it puts them in a difficult position. They don't see things the way that you do. It's for you to stand up for yourself, but you don't need to feel defensive about those things. When situations come up where you could approach them in many different ways, always put yourself into the mindset and the perception of taking that deep breath and really considering the motivation and the intentions of the antagonistic energy. There's a bird on my balcony here. And consider how miserable this individual must be. And if you're truly in a space of compassion and higher consciousness, you don't need to destroy them, and your reputation will, and your energy will speak for itself. And that's probably why people don't jump on that defensive train, because it just doesn't need to be said, because lies are just lies. And people who believe lies will either figure it out or not. Soul time. Yes, I was feeling that retreat with allowance here. So, in order for this new reality to emerge, it says to embrace the concept that I can never pronounce this word, corporeal, is that correct? The material body is mortal and has an ending, its limitations, and it's bound by things like gravity, and material abundance can limit certain aspects of your experience, right? So the material is definitely our divine limitation. It's our divine antagonist to our spiritual expansion. But it's all for a reason. If we came into this world with superpowers and everything that we touched would be turned to gold, then the moment that we rooted into the mother would turn to gold, and we would have no nurturance, no milk to feed off of, right? It's a very obvious symbolic explanation, but it's the same type of a thing. The powers that we have are limited by the ability to transcend the materialism and the ego mind, and they are expanded by our ability to uplift ourselves and our consciousness into that compassionate, forgiving, merciful, position that is so hard to reach, but it comes through the journey that we walk with the antagonist. So let's get just a couple more. Communication coming in. Delight. You'll be delighted by this communication. And there's the prosperity. Good. I love it when things that come out on the pre-shuffle are confirmed by the actual cards. So we do have under that cosmic flower fertility, emergence, synergy, and divine feminine dynamic. So yeah, it's the dynamics of the divine feminine are nurturing and compassion, intuition, and working together with those to bring forth something that is actually fertilizing the bloom, the growth of the situation. And I saw somewhere yesterday where somebody said it's not that we're growing older as we age, we're actually growing, just growing. So it's the evolution and the way that, and what is fertilizer but a bunch of organic dead animals, dead plants, waste matter, all of this stuff actually goes back into the soil symbolically and helps us to evolve our lives. I hope that you guys can hear me over that airplane. So yeah, it's the way that we engage the feminine energy, and that came out yesterday as well because Divine Feminine was there. So I'm feeling that there is definitely a little something to this antagonist energy. Let's use the handwritten cards here. Something popping out already. First card out. 5, throat chakra, goes well with the communication card, and both of those did come out yesterday. Oh, is somebody in their Saturn return? Saturn return can happen from about the ages of 28 and a half to, it kind of gets a little easier the further in you get if you're answering the being accountable for your energy, being responsible, and trying to establish yourself and a firm foundation for yourself. It's becoming your adult self. It's one of those rites of passage. And then later on it comes back, and I believe it's 57 and a half through about 60, which corresponds also to the Chiron return, which is probably a much harder one for those people who have lived their lives for other people through expectations, through the roles that they play, such as, I'm a parent and I have this job that I have to do because I have all these bills. But that's sometimes where you'll see people starting to really change that expectation for themselves or not. How much pressure are you putting on yourself? So then we have joy coming out over the delight card. Allow yourself to radiate that sense of joy and delight. Don't cheat yourself out of your blessings. Like for myself, I could very easily say, yeah, I can't afford this Maui vacation because it's ridiculous expensive here. But, you have the opportunity, you have more opportunities and choices than you may give yourself the permission to pursue. I could sit my butt at home and do all of these recordings, or I can come out here on location with my family and have an amazing time and experience life when I'm young enough to come out and move and shake and do cool things, right? And to jump into the waves with my kid. It's amazing to allow yourself to have that permission, but the choice that you make is not to go broke over it, but to simplify your life. So if you're living your life to pay your bills, maybe you're doing it wrong, unless you like to pay bills. I don't. So I simplify my life, and I got myself a reliable junkie car that's all paid off, and I don't go out and run the streets and spend a bunch of money. Oh, here's another little birdie. You make choices. It's how you spend your money, and what you own ultimately owns you. So if you simplify your life, then that frees up that bondage to your bills. So expand and uplift. The more baggage and the more bondage that you have, it binds you to the responsibilities of basically living that materialized life versus leading a life of joy. So you just have to choose your own adventure. Patience, not yet, allow the unfolding. And that comes over delight and prosperity. So maybe you've been contemplating a big change, a big shift in your life, shifting the way that you live. 999 introvert. This could be a Virgo because those are very Virgoing cards and we already have allowance. And I was seeing Hermit between allowance, the 9 card, and the soul time card here. Momentum, drive, and speed with soul star chakra, transcendence and guidance. So I feel you're leaving behind a situation that was overly demanding and going into something amazing. Like, for instance, if you don't have too many attachments, you could very easily go someplace amazing like this. I mean, it's super expensive here, but someplace else where you could have whatever your scene is, the forest scene, the beach scene, whatever you're looking for, your paradiso, where you could start looking at what kinds of jobs are there that would be amazing. Like, people here that love the sea, they can be tour guides out on the ocean sailing tours. They can be bus driver tour guides because there's so many tourists here and they don't make a lot of money here. But do your research before you sell the farm and jump on a surfboard maybe. But I'm sensing that this is something that you've been contemplating for some time. Let's see. Anything else? What do the viewers need to know? What needs to be communicated? Somebody may be putting in notice. Someone else may be changing jobs. But using your voice in some type of a way to speak your abundance into form. It's all a perception of your obligations, I'm feeling. So maybe your job, 2222 when I looked at the timer, maybe it's your job that has been the antagonist, or your responsibility, or that whole get a haircut, get a real job. Maybe it's the voice of your father or a father figure, an authority figure, early on telling you that the only way to success is somebody who has, 5 homes and a couple of ATVs and everything else that you got to feed fuel to, and gas is expensive, and pressure, and you got to play the stock market and all that stuff. Maybe that's not your gig. The stock market's volatile. Maybe there's something else you could invest in that would be secure and profitable. I'm sensing that whoever you are, you have a great idea. And this very well could be something that came to you in a vision, an invention, or even some type of institutional alternative. Like the throat chakra's going. Excuse me. But it could be an alternative to an institute, like caring for others through a healing center, or a transitional center or something, or alternative medicines or something like that. I'm seeing Venus pop out, mood swing, drama, and I dream about you. So Venus is love, money, and attraction. So you're dreaming about some type of a new life, a new relationship, a new job. And it's saying to mood swing drama is like there's a lot of drama in your workplace, or in your everyday, or in your roles that you're playing, parent, husband, wife, whatever you may be. And I believe that the drama is because there's too much obligation and not enough joy, and we often lash out at those closest to us when we're unhappy. So if somebody's coming at you, or if you're coming at others, it's related to something else, and it's suggesting that you need to embrace your dreams, to believe in the power of your dreams to set you free, to become your own hero. Look what's under the deck. Workaholic. You've been putting it in and expecting others maybe to fill in the gaps when that's only for you to do. Somebody here may be dealing with a Sagittarius. I'm sensing that if that's not you, the Sagittarius is the antagonist. It's coming out with Mars. It may be somebody looking to have dominant control over your person because it says, I need freedom. And with this, we've got the planet of Uranus and these signs, Aries, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. Yeah, so we've also got mature masculine. So somebody here is maturing or being forced to, and somebody, I sense the viewer, is being told to stand firm in your authority. You have a lot of wisdom and intuition in this matter. Protect yourself, create sacred space around yourself, and if this is somebody in your environment, find a place that you can go to recover. Stay lucid. Don't let somebody gaslight you or twist things or make you doubt that you're the problem and they're the innocent one. That's a ploy. Protect your energy. So then we have on the deck, I never told you, maybe at the new moon, that there was a spark, a new potential. And I sense that that's when the dream, the epiphany with the new moon, solar eclipse possibly, it started an epiphany about somebody needs stability, a best friend and a lover, partners. So somebody has been putting in too much. Maybe one person's a total workaholic, providing all the money, and the other person is doing completely the opposite over here. So it ends up being a bit more codependent than an equal partnership. So somebody's cutting cords from this situation and getting advice from some friends. And then I have, I want to marry you, chemistry, synchronicity, luck, and divine timing with completion and leveling up. You're a brick house. And somebody's been playing some games, stealth tactics with your inner child. They've been messing with your emotional fluctuations and trying to get a reaction. So reclaim your power from these low vibrational entities and these lower attachments. Somebody else around you has not been separating themselves from those lower energies. You may have from early on been stuck in a position of feeling different, being the scapegoat, the black sheep, the rebel. And it's given you some trust issues. So there's definitely a change in the air. So basically, the miracle, the frequency of miracles supports our belief in ourselves as a part of Source, and therefore our belief that anything is possible. Under that change, Earth and empowerment. I'm sensing, and Earth was the card that came out with empowerment earlier, and this change I was sensing, it was a change in the powers that are in charge of the earth, in charge of the third dimension. You know, this could very well be power shifts in governments. I'm no crystal ball person. I like to just see what comes out, but it's definitely what I was sensing. I, J, K, and L coming out. I was trying to get a reaction, but they miss you because you've gone away. They don't feel worthy. There's a Scorpio on the table that has mad respect for you, and they're manifesting a break, a chain breaker pattern interrupt. So they're trying to escape the mind mess as well, and trying to get themselves lucid. Yeah, so I'm going to leave those cards there. So I'm sensing that this change in the power dynamics that have been at play in the material plane of your particular life, and possibly on the larger collective and on the world stage, if you will. I sense that the earth is changing, and with the earth ascending, that we're all being pushed into our greatness. And the more that we can resist the urge to fall backwards into our falling spiritual narcolepsy, is that card from the other deck. But the more that we can allow ourselves to continue to flow and to uplift, the more that we empower ourselves to work with the ascending earth vibrations, to understand our place in our potential. And when you're asleep, the world changes you, and when you're awake, you change the world. Amazing, right? Somebody here is awakening to their power and potential, and they've done as much as they can take of the third dimensional run around and married to their job, and they're ready to accept miracles into their life by creating them themselves. The hero of the story is always the miracle maker, right? So that is the message. Be your own hero. There's a huge change on the wind, and as soon as we're breaking through, we're going to start seeing evidence of those miracles coming in one after another. Prosperity can come in many forms. It can come in money, success, in time allotments, in beautiful choices that you choose to make. So I wish you all the best and all the miracles that you can handle. And for those that didn't see the panorama view yesterday, I'll go ahead and lift you up and see through the cage bars of the window here. Look at this. Such a gorgeous world that we live in. And if you're not giving yourself permission to go out and see the world, then perhaps part of your message is just that, to simplify and decide what are your goals in this life, and to go out and live your life before you start giving up on being the hero of your story. So take care, everyone. Love you all so very much. Your prosperity is coming. Don't forget, if this message resonates, to like, share, subscribe, comment below, and to let me know, what is it that you are ready for, my heroes. Take care of yourself. Bye.